Welcome everybody to the September 2024 Trader Circle session. My name is Advent and I am not a financial advisor. So everything you guys see in this video or any of my other content is not financial advice. It is simply for educational purposes only. Trading does have its risks, so please do your research before you engage in it. So welcome everybody, excited to be here. For those who have never been to one of these, this is a class, a free group coaching class that I hold every second Sunday of the month. So every second Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we always have these classes where you can pretty much ask me anything and I'll help you out in your trading. Now, of course, as I always tell everybody, if you want me to answer your question that you put in the questionnaire when you're registering, you need to be present. So if you're not present, then I'm not going to answer your question because I like talking to human beings and I'm not going to let you get away with free game and not participating. If I'm here, you have to be here too. So with all that being said, let's start. Let me bring up my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Sweet. All right. Let's bring up these questions. So I usually try to frame it like the questions that people asked first in the questionnaire, and then I'll like open the floor to whatever questions you guys want to go over. So let's see what we got. Tyrese. Is Tyrese here? I don't see Tyrese in the participants. If Tyrese isn't here, skipping you. That was a great question you had too. Unfortunately, you're not here. ET, whoever ET is, if you are here, let me know. I don't see anything like that in the participants. So we'll skip you too. Isaiah, I do see you here. Do you want to go over the strat setups again compared to what we went over the other day? Or do you have like more questions on that? Sweet. And just to be clear, which specific strat setups, or do you kind of just mean in general? TTO and the kid and play setup. Definitely. All right. So before I get started in the TTO, for those who don't know what a TTO is, a TTO just stands for triangle day out. It's a term that Rob Smith created, as he does with his words. A TTO just, you can know that as corrective activity or a pullback before it continues in the trend. A bearish one looks like this, pretty much like a lowercase h pattern. A bullish one looks like this, pretty much the opposite. So it's a pullback before it continues in the trend. Downtrend, pullback, continues in the trend. Now, I look for these on the 5 and 15-minute time frame. You can find them on any time frame, honestly. However, when I'm day trading and it's going to be a trend day, the TTOs are going to form. You just need to know how to spot them. So let's look at an easy one so this specific one I'm about to show you looks like picture perfect TTO, exactly how I love it, or I prefer them to show up. So as we can see here with SPY, this is on the weekly time frame for SPY. So we have a nice TTO right here. We had another one right here, a little small one, but we have a good one right here. So we have the push up, we have the push down, or the pullback, and then we continue higher. The TTO is completed when it breaks this high. when it breaks that high. So let me do it one more time with the path tool to be a little more exact. So we got the push up, the push down, and then the continue move up. The TTO is completed when it breaks that high there. Making sense? Questions? And as we can also see here on SPY for the previous, what was this, on August? So same thing. We had the push up, the push down. However, this TTO on SPY did not complete, as we can see here. Instead of breaking this high, we reverse and now we're coming back down instead of continuing higher and breaking this high. Great question, Ro. So for those who don't know where you would enter, you would have to have a basic understanding of the strat. That's the strategy that I used that Rob Smith created. So we're going to get in on the first reversal back into the trend. So we're clearly on a bullish trend here. What I'm waiting for after the pullback is to take a bullish reversal to the upside. So my trade will look something like this. For the TTO, I usually put it under the right side like this. Like I mentioned, you're aiming for the completed, this high to break like this. But of course, you can aim for more if you want to. But generally, we're aiming for, in relation of the TTO, we're aiming for the top to break. That'll be a completed TTO. And then, of course, you can leave some runners to, keep on heading higher if it does. So in this case, when we close as an inside bar on the last week of April, right here, well, I guess technically the second to last week of April, when we close as an inside bar, the next bar for the actual last week of April, as soon as we broke above this inside bar, we immediately go long. We don't wait for the candle to close as strat users because you'll be too late. So as soon as price reverses back up to the bullish side, we're going long immediately. Now, if this stop loss is too wide for you, you can always use the setup candle, which this is the setup candle, the inside bar, because it's a 2-1-2 up setup. So the 1 bar is the setup candle. The 2 up that triggered you in is the trigger candle. So you can always use the setup candle as your stop if you don't want to put it under the right side of the bullish TTO like I would, just to give yourself a little more room if you want to. If you want to reduce your risk, you can just use a setup candle like this. That way your risk is a little reduced, if that helps. And then similarly on this one right over here, after we get that pullback, we're just waiting for the first reversal back into the trend, which was right here. And then of course, you can take profit, something to make note of. You can take profit as it goes in your favor. You don't need to wait for the high to break for you to take profit. Because from here all the way up here, that's about 30 points. Personally, I'm not going to hold SPY for 30 points without taking profit. I'm probably going to take profit every $5 or $10 that it goes in my favor. If I'm in this example that I'm looking at the weekly time frame. So you can take profit as it goes in your direction. You don't need to wait until the very end to take profit. I will say, however, if it is a valid TTO, it is going to break that high as it did over here. As we can see in this example, it did not break the high. So for me, this is probably going to be a failed TTO. Because generally, as you can see, the TTOs, they never pull back. They always break that, and then they'll pull back a little bit. This one right over here did not break that high, and it's already pulling back. So this is probably going to be a failed TTO, and instead probably just going to be a double top and just head back down. But we'll see. We have CPI data this week and PPI data, so maybe that sends us reverses last week's candle and goes higher. We'll see. For the bearish TTOs, would you suggest getting out where price reversed if the target is not hit? Yeah, you can definitely do that too, Ro. So let's say if you were long from all the way down here, you can reverse or you can get out right over here. So as soon as price reversed back down, like last week, as soon as it breaks that price and comes back down, you can get out. You can do that too. Let's look for a bearish one now. We can use this one. We can use this as an example right here. Yeah, it's not the cleanest one though. Let's see. I want to show you guys a really clean one so it's easier to spot. There's a few that I passed that are valid ones, but again, I just want to show you guys clean ones. I'll I'll accept this one for now. Granted, it's a gap down, but we'll use it. So like I mentioned, a bearish TTO is a lowercase h pattern. So it looks like this, lowercase h, as we can see right here. So price came down, retraced back up, and you're taking the first reversal to the downside. So in this case, I'll get in as soon as this candle broke this high or this low. My stop loss is above the H crest, as Trust calls it. For those who don't know what an H crest is, that's this right here. So it's like the hump of the H pattern or the bearish TTO. So my stop loss is going to go right above there. Your max target for the TTO, at least to complete, is going to be this low being broken right there. As we can see here, we got in there. Again, you can take profit as it hits your strat targets, 1, 2, the BF could be 3, then 4 when it completes the TTO. Or if you want to hold your full position until the TTO completes, or like Ro mentioned, until it reverses, you can do that too. I usually like to take profit as it goes in my favor. I usually take these on futures a lot more than I do on options. And for futures, it could be halfway and I could be up $200. I'm not going to let $200 go red, personally. So that's the bearish and bullish TTOs. For those who are not familiar with what this can be used for the TTOs, they're just good to use to get in on the trend if you missed the initial entry. So keep that in mind. Let's say, for example, let me see if there's any clean ones on Friday. So we had a clear bearish day on Friday. Let's go on the 5-minute, see what we got. Pretty much straight down. We did get one right here, as you can see, a bearish one. Push up, reversal back down. Oh, whoops. Wrong tool. We have the push down, retracement, and then reversal back down. You would have gotten short here, targeting there, and whatever else you had. Something to keep in mind of this specific one, me personally, I'm probably not going to take this one because the stop loss from my entry is way too high. This one I wouldn't take. I'm very, very particular of the ones that I take. This is not one that I would take because the stop loss where I would usually put it, like up here, is way too wide. A good trade that I would have taken, though, is another trade for you, Isaiah. I'm not sure if we went over it. We have a nice Momo shooter set up right here. A Momo hammer or a Momo shooter is another trade setup that you can take where it prints a reverse hammer or a hammer in the direction of the trend. So clearly we're bearish, then it prints a reverse hammer, and you could take it short as soon as it breaks that hammer. These type of setups, I will always take, no questions asked. And for these specific ones, my stop loss is always below the, well, in this case, for the shooter, the Momo shooter, it's going to be above the hammer, like this, above the hammer, or above the reverse hammer. If it's a, how do I reverse these charts? It's like negative SPY. Whoops. Does anybody know how to reverse the chart on TradingView? I know on Thinkorswim, I just put like negative on the ticker and it reverses the chart to make it upside down. I always forget how to do that. Anyway, or to invert the chart. This one I would not have gotten stopped out because my stop loss is above this candle. And if I'm looking to the left, I'm pretty sure I have some other targets somewhere back here. And there might have been some broadening formations that are below that shooter as well. So in this case, if I get in short right here, that first big flush candle hit one target. Granted, it's only 30 cents. I probably wouldn't take it off at 30 cents. So in this case, it went at least $1 in your favor at this wick. I would take it off every 75 cents to $1 in my favor. Or if there's strat targets that you can clearly see. So this one would have been a winning trade. Generally, I would look for the Momo shooters and stuff like that, like on the 15-minute or higher. But as we saw earlier, it can also print on the 5-minute. Let me see if we can find a bullish one. And it's usually like a big candle, then it prints a hammer or a shooter, and then another big candle. And it's usually on trend day. Oh, so right here, perfect. Momo hammer setup. Like I always tell you guys, the market is not random. It's programmed. You can see that exact same pattern that we just saw on the short side, but for the long side. So we get in here, stop loss is under the hammer, and your targets are whatever targets you have. In this case, Ro, it'll be easier for you to determine targets because we have ones right here that we can see. We don't need to zoom out all the way to the left to find other targets. So could have taken profit there, there, at the body or the wick, whichever one you prefer. That would have been a nice one. So Momo hammer, Momo shooter, TTO, fantastic. The Momo hammer, similar to the TTO, you can use to get in on the trend if you missed the original entry. The TTO, you're using that to get in at the best possible entry when it's going to be a trend day. Because sure, you can take, let me get rid of all these lines real quick. You can take the continuation once it breaks the 4-hour or the daily, right? I just personally prefer to take reversals. That's why I don't like continuations unless it's a Momo shooter or Momo hammer continuation. And we have another one right here on the 15-minute. The trend is bearish, hammer prints. Granted, this will be a reversal rather than a continuation, but nonetheless, you can accept it. Cool. Hopefully that was clear. And let's see, the other setup you wanted to go over Didi said, would you say a TTO is almost like an optimal trade entry? I can't say yes or no because I don't trade ICT. I do understand what you're saying, though. I just personally don't trade it ICT in that capacity. So I can't say 100% yes or no. But what we went over the other day, pretty much ICT, you're getting in on you're like anticipating the pullback. For the strat, we're getting in when the reversal is confirmed back into the trend. For ICT, you guys are getting in earlier. Well, let's see. And then Isaiah, so you want to go over the kid and play setup. So for the kid and play setup, for those that are in the Discord, I have all my setups in the playbook channel. As soon as I can get Discord over to my other screen. There we go. So in the Discord, if you go to the educational center, you're going to go to playbook setups channel. And I have pretty much all the setups outlined with exactly what you're going to be looking for to make those setups be more understood. Some of them I have videos for, some of them I don't. But in this example, for the kid and play setup, as we can see here, we're looking for, this is the short version, and I'll show you the long version in a bit. So for the short version, we're looking for a candle, a green candle to close with a flat body, preferably no wick at the top. And then the next candle is going to be a candle that failed to close higher. So in the strat, people who trade the strat, you know this as a failed to up. So we're going to look for a big candle with a flat body with preferably no wick. And then the next candle with a big wick with preferably no wick on the bottom. So it's like flat like this. It's flat on the bottom of this red one. And then up here, we have flat, evenly matched candles. And then as soon as it reverses back down, for those who trade the strat, you already know when you're going to get in. As soon as it breaks this candle's low, you're going to go short. My stop loss is always at the body of the trigger candle. If the price goes above that, that is not a valid kid and play setup. To me, that's a losing trade. And it'll look just like this. If it doesn't look like this, I'm not going to take it because I want to take the higher probability trades. So let's see if I can find a long version for you guys. Remember there was one on YM the other day on the 1 hour. Something to note, that depending on the time frame you're on, they print if you're using regular hours or if you're using extended hours. When I'm looking for this on the 1 hour, the hours are always extended. It's never regular hours. But the 15-minute, the 30-minute, I'm always looking on the regular trading hours. Only the 1 hour time frame I'm looking with extended data on. So we can see one right here, a short example. We have the big candle. The candles aren't evenly matched, but we can accept this for now. I prefer there to be no wick here. We have the solid bottom body, which is perfect. We go short. It never hit the stop loss and it hit the first target, either the body or the wick, whatever you want. So if you were trading futures, let's say with one contract on YM, that's about $470 for one contract. Granted, again, your stop loss in this case is going to be about, was that 65? It's 250, about 315, 325, if my math is correct. But hey, the risk reward looks good to me. I took it on this day, but on the 15-minute time frame, not on the 30-minute. So we can see a better one here. This is the one that I took. Flat body on the top, flat body, long wick, and then Again, I prefer no wick, but I will accept this tiny wick on the bottom. If the wick is higher, like more than 50% of this candle, I'm not going to take it. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. So on this day, I took a short right here, and then I got pretty much all of this. Actually, I'm lying. I didn't get 200 points. I got about 100 points on this trade. I wish I would have held the runner because that would have been nice. But again, I'm very happy with a 100-point move on YM. I'll tell you that. So let me find this long version for you guys. Remember, if you're going to look for it on the 1 hour time frame, you need to be using extended hours. So we have one right here. Big red, flat, little to no wick. The next green candle, long wick, flat body. You take the reversal back up. Hit the first target at the body or the wick, and then it reversed back down. This specific trade, your stop loss would have been a little wider. The stop loss here is 121 points. The first target is 98 or 116 if you're using the wick. But again, you can always reduce your size and use micros to mitigate the bigger stop loss. This specific setup, the stop loss is always a variable. It's never the same. So keep that in mind. You'll have to adjust your position size in relation to whatever the stop loss is. So don't use the same position size every single version. Clear on the TTO and the kid in play setup, Isaiah? And remember, for more details on exactly what to look for, I have it here in the Discord in the Playbook Setups channel. Sweet. All right. Back to questions. Of course. Pamela, I don't see your name in the list of people in here, so not going to answer your questions. Maxim, he couldn't attend because he's in the UK. James, is James here? Don't see your name in here, James. Dan, I don't think Dan's not here either. Also, Dan, if you watch this replay, again, please be as specific as you can, because all you said that you wanted to go over is you literally said yes. That doesn't tell me anything. You need to tell me what you want to go over. All right. Let's see. Paulette is here, and you want to go over better entries and exits. We'll go over that in a bit. Wood said, would you mind going back over the TTO? I just joined like 1 or 2 minutes ago. Woods, I'll probably just have you watch the replay because I don't want to spend another 20 minutes on the TTO. So this will be recorded and I'll post it tonight or tomorrow after it finishes processing. So Paulette, when you say better entries and exit, what exactly do you mean by that? You can come off mute or you can type in the chat.
Okay, so my issue is I think I'm getting in, either I'm getting into it too late or too early. But I end up losing some of my trades, so to speak. And I kind of sort of hold a little too long. So I don't want to sit here and spend a ton of money on a contract, and that's what I end up doing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Like you usually get like at the money or in the money contracts?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You trade the strat?
I would love to learn it, but I don't fully understand it.
What's the confusing part of the strat?
I get the candles. I get that, but like when you say you're gonna cut it at this point or that point, that's the part that I'm not totally getting.
In the sense of where like where
When
you
you
stop out
when
when
you
you
get in and when you get out, exactly. Like take profit.
So to keep it super simple, if you're going long, if you're taking a call, strat-wise, your targets are the previous candle highs. So I'm on the 1 hour right now. If I were to take this 2 down, 2 up reversal, my first target is going to be either the body or the wick, whichever one you prefer. So as soon as price comes up and hits that price, you can take some of your position off, or you can take the whole thing off, whatever you prefer. And your stop loss, you can put your stop loss in one of 3 places. This is the trigger candle that got us into the trade. This is the setup candle right here. Your stop loss can either be under the trigger candle, which is right here, or it could be 50% of the setup candle. So you can get your fib tool and just, draw the fib from the top and bottom. It could be 50% of this candle, which is, I'm pretty much there already. Or your stop loss can be under the setup candle like this. In this case, I'm not going to use a setup candle because this stop loss is way too wide for me. So I'll probably either use the trigger candle right under it or the 50%. And you're getting in as soon as the candle breaks. So to show you an example on Bitcoin, oh, cool, I'm up $600 in fake money. Let's collect it. Nice. If only that was real. So let's go to the 1 minute because I don't want to be here for 3 hours waiting for a setup. All right, so we got 7 seconds left. Let's see if I could put this trade in really quickly. Stop. If it breaks that low, we'll do a buy. If it breaks that high. So now we're waiting. It's an inside bar. If it breaks the low, we're going to go short. If it breaks the high, we're going to go long. So you can see it live and what it looks like. In this case, for options, you need to buy manually. When, so here we're short, granted, because of slippage. So we see here, my first target's going to be the wick or the body. My stop was going to be above the trigger candle or the setup candle, whatever you prefer. And then we just wait. We got 3 seconds left on this candle. Let's see if we can continue lower instead of reversing back up. So we printed another inside bar, 2 down, and then it hit target. Easy.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Did it make more sense now?
It does.
Cool. Also, something to note that I tell everybody, if you weren't there for the trade recap that I have every Friday on my YouTube channel, if you're learning something new, which it seems like you still haven't fully grasped the strat, do not use your real money. Paper trade. Because you do not want to lose real money and create emotional scars by losing a lot of money as you learn, because then you're going to be less confident and you're going to be dissuaded from actually using a lot, your regular size when you actually start learning, applying it. So paper trade until you fully understand it. And then once you have a good grasp of it, then you can start using your real money. At least that's what I would do. And, just take your time. Because if you put $5,000 in and you're using all that money to learn and you shred $4,000, you're going to have a real hard time. And then you're going to be, this is the cycle of events that I have seen a lot of people go through. They start trading, use their real money, don't know what they're doing, lose a lot of money, finally find a strategy that I would hope works. But because they lost all that money in the beginning, what happens is they're too focused on getting that lost money back now. And that's a recipe for disaster. Your job as a trader is not to make money. Your job as a trader is to follow your system, your rules, and your disciplines. And from that is where the money comes from. So when you're chasing the money in trading, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're not going to be respecting your rules. You're going to be focusing on the money. I'll give you some examples. You'll get in a trade. Let's say yesterday you ended $100, red, negative $100. You'll be in a trade the following day and you're up $100 on the current trade. And you're like, well, if I close this trade right now, I can make up for the loss that I did yesterday. Again, look at where your mind is at on the money. And what happens is you close that trade and you secure your $100. So you made up for yesterday, but then it went to your target and you would have made $300. So because you were so focused on yesterday, you weren't focused on the setup today. So you always focus on what's happening in front of you, never what happened yesterday, never what happened last week, a month ago, a year ago. That's irrelevant because every single day is different. So you always follow your system and the money will come from that. Hope that helped.
It does. Thank you.
Of course. Definitely, Ro. If I find a time machine, I'll go back in time and tell all of you guys, don't use your real money until you learn this. And then we'll all save ourselves a lot of lost money and funds. All right. David, if you're here, that's if I know we have another David here, unless that is the David that's in here. You mentioned finding A+ setups. So if you are in here, let me know if that's you who wrote that.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Sweet. So A+ setups, some of the ones that I mentioned before.
Well, yeah, I mean, you pretty much just went over that. I've been paying attention as you was going over the kid and play and stuff like that. So
Sweet. Yeah, I was about to say, because I'm like, that's pretty much what we just went over.
yeah. So I've been paying attention.
So pretty much everything that's in the playbook setup section to me will be like an A+ setup. Besides the the retracement setup, I would consider that like a B setup. It works great, but I would consider that a B setup compared to the other ones that I have in here.
Okay, cool.
Rick, you are in here. You mentioned pulling the trigger. Are you have like what's going on that you're not pulling the trigger for your trades? I just got to get out of my own way. All right, let's explore that. Remember, we need to be very specific to find the solution to the problem. Yes, in simple terms, you got to get out of your own way. That is correct. But let's be very specific. What specifically are you doing that is making you get in your own way? Like what's going on? What thoughts come up before you get into the trade that's not making you get into the trade? You think that you overthink. In it sounds like analysis paralysis. In overthinking, let's get a little closer. What are you overthinking? What's coming up in your head? Like, what are the thoughts? You will chart it, but you think it's not right. All right, let's explore that a little further. Why do you think it's not right? Ashley, let me ask you this. Have you been paper trading the things that you chart up? So like the ones that you posted last week and things like that, did you paper trade those? Gotcha. And so basically, it's a confidence thing that's going on. So the only way that you're going to build confidence in these trades is actually seeing them play out. So if the trades that you mapped out last week, did they work out? And not all of them have to work out, but did some of them work out? Gotcha. So there's a lot of life stuff happening right now. Gotcha. Now, it definitely makes sense. In your current case, hopefully it wasn't too bad. Wish you the best and quick recovery because those can be rough. What I would say is if some did, are you journaling your paper trades that you mapped out? Cool. So if you're journaling it, your journal is going to be the proof. If you're looking at these setups that you're mapping out and they're winning, then there is the proof that what you're doing works. Remember, the goal is not to be right. I don't trade to be right. I just trade to trade my setups. And it's up to the market to decide if I'm right or not. That's not up to me or up to you or anybody else. So once you map out these trades and you look at your journal, look back a month. How many trades did you win? How many trades did you lose? Which specific setups did you take? Which specific setups works? Which specific setups didn't work? That way you can get a lot more information and you could be more confident in what you're doing. So you can see, all right, cool. Out of the 10 2-on-2 setups that I charted out, seven of them won and 3 of them lost. So what this tells me is that the 2-on-2 setups on this specific time frames work well. So now I can take them moving forward. So the biggest thing here, I would definitely say paper trade maybe for another 2 weeks or another month or until you feel a little more comfortable. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to push the button. As our good friend Chris Tucker said in Rush Hour 1, got to push the button. And then once you start pushing it and trading real money, you'll get a little more comfortable. Remember, you still might be a little fearful because that's your brain and your mind working against you because the human brain does not like trading. We're in an uncertain situation. Our brain does not like that. So that's where, as Randy Howell said, you need to build the trader's mind. And the trader knows that everything is probability based. So if I get into a trade, I don't know if I'm going to win. Again, that's up to the market. You can have a 90% win rate trade. It might fail because of the 10%. It is what it is. My best setups fail. Got to eat those and keep it moving. Definitely glad you're doing better since joining the group. Happy to hear that. So for you, I would definitely say, keep on practicing. You're doing great. A lot of the things that you've shown in the group and you're charting, fantastic. The biggest thing, keep on journaling and just get that proof in front of you so you can be confident to take the trade. We'll look at one chart that you posted just so we're not here for too long. What is this? AMD on the 4-hour. Let's see. So yeah, like we can see here on the 2-1 setup that you had for AMD, it was a clear winner. It hit the first target on this low, the second target at that low. Fantastic work. So again, you're doing great. You're doing great. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on practicing, and then you'll get more confident as time progresses. Cool. Kendon, if Kendon is in here, which I don't think I see your name. You had a good question too. I wish you were here. All right. I will open up the floor. So whatever questions you guys have, put it in the chat or come off mute and we'll go over it. Whatever you want.
Did you ever get a chance to ask Brown about the what was it? The fail candles being an actionable signal?
I forgot about that. Let me message him now and see if he answers
Did
back.
you forget about me?
I didn't
I'm
forget
crushed.
you. Just know it's not personal. I have to make a reminder to put it in my reminders. All right, where is Brown's chat? Let's see if he responds back. So
And also, I had sent you a message as well, a video. It was IWM on August the 16th.
let's see what we got. So I messaged Brown just now. And let's see what you sent me on August 16.
August the 16th, the 8:30 candle on the, it was a video I sent you on the 5-minute chart, I think it was.
Checking. On the 16th or 15th of August.
Yeah, it was a Friday.
Our chat goes from August 9 and it skips to August 29.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Our chat goes from August 8th or August 9th to August 29.
No. I sent it to you yesterday, but the video was about
Oh, God. All right, that makes
yeah, the video, the date on the question I had was on the 15th, 15th or 16th, I don't remember. I can look at my thing and see.
All right, so Brown said he believes so. They usually form the 2-2 reversal. So we'll take that as a 50-50 answer.
Okay.
Because I remember I was looking at Rob Smith's like original course for the strat. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. I don't think that he ever mentioned that. Maybe he did like in other classes that he had, but in the course, I don't recall hearing that. I'll have to look at it again.
My goodness, I don't see the video I sent you. It probably didn't go through.
Probably. That's why I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. It didn't go through, but yeah, it was August the 15th. Yeah, August the 16th is a Friday. And it was on the 5-minute time frame,
Hold on, let me
IWM.
bring this chat. All right, so it's August 15th on the 5-minute.
Yes.
Let me highlight that day so we can all follow together and not lose it. August 15th, which is a Thursday on the 5-minute, right?
It was August the 16th on the 5-minute, yes.
All right,
And then I went down to the 3-minute, but you don't have the 3-minute.
3-minute. All right, so the 16th is pretty much this day. Where's that? So this is the 16th right here. All right, I'm on the 5-minute. What are we looking at?
Okay, so I had a brought in formation, the 8:30 candle. I had is that the 16th?
This is the 16th, yep.
The 8:30 candle. The opening I'm sorry, not 9:30 your time. I'm sorry. I'm Central. So the opening candle.
Yeah, that let me actually go on RTY on Thinkorswim because I have my BFs drawn there, which I usually reference when I'm trading IWM. Let's do, what's that? 30 days. All right, let's look for the 16th, which is right here. Oh, wait, that's the 19th. There we go. This is the 16th. All right. What are we looking at?
And it was a 9:30 candle. So it was an opening candle. And I had a broad information there and I had a support line because I told you I started drawing those. So that was a hammer off the broad information
On what time frame?
on the 5 minute.
A hammer? No, I
On
don't.
mine, it is.
Are you, it's for the opening candle on the 5 minute?
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see.
I guess I had my screen too small then and it looked like a hammer.
Let's see. Let me go back. With regular trading hours?
Regular trading hours, yes.
Interesting. I have a somewhat of a hammer extended, but with regular hours, I am definitely not seeing that hammer. I see a hammer like in the middle of the day over here, kind of like a red one, but not at market open. I have a reverse looking hammer.
Well, that was my thing. So it was on a broad information right there, and it went up, and that was a shooter. But on the 3 minute, I had a fail to up. So my question is like it was a fail to up, then another candle, and then it reversed down. So is like
On
the
the,
fail to up
on the
kind of an
3 minute?
indication that it's coming back down?
Well, yeah,
Is that, sorry?
definitely. Because we can see here that we have a two up and then another two up. This one failed to close above the trigger. So it's a failed two up. Granted, I would prefer it to be red. That's an indication that we're going to reverse. And you have a print a shooter too. So a failed two up shooter. I would take that.
And I had a broad information up there as well.
I think I remember that screenshot that you sent. I'm not sure why it's not showing up here. Because
Yeah, I just checked my messages. It's not in there. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so my question really was with the fail to up because it's I don't on the 3 minute, the candle before the shooter is a fail to up. So I was just wondering if that's the indication for it to that is coming back down because it retested and then it came down after the failed two up.
I would say so. Because
Okay.
if it's failing to close higher, that's telling me that the sellers are bringing it down. Granted, I would want to look at a higher time frame. Sure, you can use the lower ones to get a little earlier. I just personally don't like anything under the 5 minute. But as always, that I tell you guys, do whatever works. I give you the foundation of what works for me. You can adjust it if it works even better. Great. Um, but if not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah,
Okay,
fail.
yeah, that
I would say that's an actionable signal in my book.
okay, yeah, that was just my question with the actionable signals, failed to up, failed to down, if that was, kind of an indication that um it's about to flip the other way.
Gotcha. Cool.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Shout out Brown getting back to us so quick. All right. Any other questions you guys have? Also, reminder, these sessions are open to anybody. You can send these links. Well, specifically, you can send the registration link up to people so they can register. And you can register months in advance if you want to, just to have the email there ready to go. They're not just for you, for the people in my group. This is like for the public too. So anybody you think can benefit, definitely bring them over. If we don't have any more questions, as always, what is the biggest takeaway that you guys learned today, or what's the biggest takeaway from today's session, or what is the biggest thing that you've learned today? I finally understand Momo candles. Definitely, Ro. I came across this like random video. I think the guy's name is Strat Soldier. And then like 10 minutes in, he's like, yeah, the Momo hammer. I'm like, the Momo hammer? What the heck is that? And I'm like, oh, snap. Like I've been seeing those setups the whole time, but I didn't even know what that was until he like, laid it out. I'm like, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Strat community.
Question. So the Momo hammer, Momo shooter, it's just a little bit smaller than the regular hammer and shooter.
No, it's just the hammer that prints in the direction of the trend.
Okay, so it's just a regular hammer.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a special one.
Nah. So look at here. I prefer this to be a little more hammerish, but I'll accept this. Big candle, hammer, take it up. Over here, big red, shooter or reverse hammer, take it down. I prefer to take these setups on the 15-minute or higher, like 15-minute, 30-minute, or the 1 hour. But the 5-minute you can do as well. Definitely glad that the kid and play setup was reinforced and the Momo hammer and shooter, Isaias. Definitely journaling, Rick, 100%, and trust your setups. For those who are curious on why it's named the kid and play setup, I didn't name it that. Somebody in 100K's group did, and I was laughing as soon as they said it. For those who have watched or who know who Kid and Play is, this will make sense for you once I bring it up. We can all laugh together. So for those who don't know who Kid and Play are, you can think of it as like their hair, right? So one's hair is bigger with the long wick, and the other one's hair is just short. So the Kid and Play setup. Granted, them being old now, they cut their hair, so I gotta rewatch that movie now. But yeah, the origin of the Kid and Play setup.
I actually always want to ask you about that, like, because I'm an old head, so I remember Kid and Play.
Yep, there you go. That's where the Kid and Play. Once I posted it, some dude in 100K's, because I was like, I wonder what I should call this setup to make it easier for people to spot when we're talking about it. And he's like, call it the Kid and Play. I'm like, all right. And then I looked it up. I'm like, that's why he said Kid and Play. So there you go. Kid and Play setup. Cool. And remember, as I always tell you guys, you can really only trade one or two of these setups that we went over today and you'll be profitable. I have a student who only trades TTOs and he's good. He's fine. I just like to be extra sometimes and like have like 10,000 different good setups. That's just me though. But again, you can pick one or two and only trade that and you'll be perfectly fine because the win rate is there. Other than that, thank you guys for coming out as always and asking your questions. We'll have this next one next month, the second Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Remember, the same link that you used to register is the same link that you'll use to register for all the other future classes that we have. Enjoy your night, everybody, and I will see you in the morning. Get some rest.